Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hope you're doing well. I wanted to just give a friendly reminder, gentle reminder, that whomever wants to give you drugs wants to destroy you. How so? Because if you use drugs for an extended period of time, this is going to erode your brain's intellect. It only does permanent, irreversible damage. If you use so many drugs that you essentially shut down, and those drugs make you do things that cause trauma, okay, give you PTSD and other ailments, this is going to put you in the chair of the medical establishment, and that type of brain rot is just going to make them want to lobotomize you with pills. And more pills is going to make you not be able to function as well with a job, with your family, with your own inner thoughts. And once you are just this lobotomized cow in a facility, you're just going to be drained for your insurance money. So I want you to sit back and think, do these libertarians and these liberals and progressives actually care about you? It's cool and so laissez-faire for them to willy-nilly say, yeah, legalize, tax, and regulate everything, we're just gonna have drugs, and, we don't need to give the death penalty to drug dealers, and we don't need to have drug dealers in prison. They're just trying to get bread for their family, all the funny little ridiculous things they say. And we don't need to ban music that promotes drugs. It should be free, man. So free. And those types, those who say that, they do not actually want you to succeed. They are giving you a poison that is disguised as soda, as something desirable and sweet. When in reality, if you watch someone deteriorate from meth, and there's different kinds of meth, Adderall, whatever it is, something that you can abuse that will lower your overall kidney function and liver function, okay? You have to understand that a lot of liberals love depopulation. They hate seeing big families. I often want to screenshot comments and stuff on their depopulation forums and their antinatalism and those really kind of twisted folks who are growing, right? They say the earth is overpopulated and their solution is, depopulation and eugenics instead of creative ways to expand healthy agriculture and unique farming practices. Vertical farms, you name it, floating farms on the ocean, whatever it is, they don't want to have solutions for food and for clean water. It's abortions, birth control, vasectomies, endless wars, and just lobotomizing you with drugs and alcohol and anything that can just get you to not breed and stuff you either in a prison or get you into an early grave. So those types who push the music that pushes drugs, they push movies that glorify drugs, and then they censor and attack and bot swarm people who are showing you that that's not healthy for you. That's not gonna work for you in the end. Everyone who offers you drugs is your enemy. They want to see you destroyed. Just because they smile as they give you something doesn't mean they care about you and they want you to be your healthiest, most fit, most sane self. A lot of people will give you things to poison yourself. They're removing competition. They're, I would argue, also affected by shaitan in a very distinct way because they don't have any type of empathy for what they're about to give you. They don't think to themselves that they're about to destroy a life, that they are helping someone to destroy themselves. It's like if someone was cutting their arms up, mincing it, and a person comes in and hands them another knife. Liberals would say, who are you to tell them what to do with their own body? They're only hurting themselves. So you have no right to stop someone from giving them a knife, because they're only using the knife on themselves. That's their argument. As long as you're not hurting anybody else, it's permissible. They totally ignore that drugs harm the person's organs, their mental capacity, and how they parent their children. And it burdens the children with a drug-addicted parent and does hurt them. Drugs and alcohol only hurt. The amount of people who are suffering from alcoholism shows that we as a society have chosen the wrong path in allowing the atheists and the liberals and the progressives and the occultists to constantly bombard the populace with alcohol. And further than that, really ask yourself, if the government really wanted productivity, why would they just want to put the bottle in front of their own population? It really goes to show that those who are so high up on the pyramid, they really do look at us as something to be detested, something to serve them, something for them to prop their feet up on. So the question goes then, why would you allow them to be proven right? By getting drunk, by using drugs. No one became better because of alcohol or drugs. So why do we allow atheists to control the narrative and to shame religious people from speaking? Oh, it didn't work during Prohibition. Okay, so now we have more alcohol abuse, ads everywhere, and people will get censored for political speech and for all kinds of stuff, shadow banned, but alcohol companies are allowed to be monetized and spread their stuff, even though their product only poisons the body. Now, ask yourself, they're targeting people who are free, healthy, and sane, and wise, while they push in your face pure degeneracy. And the smug atheist, who is usually vaping, he's taking Adderall, smoking cigarettes, drinks way too much coffee, is somebody who will smoke weed and use maybe cocaine once in a while. They're already on 6 stimulants, 6 intoxicants. Their personality is hidden under these multiple substances. You have to break through all those substances and see who they are sober without anything. And then they deny the fact that those substances get into their nervous system and their gut biome and that it affects them. They deny that. But then when they say they need it, they show that it does affect them. They just deny that it could have any negative outcome. And they're not even thinking about how those products relate to each other. If you're going to be smoking weed all the time, and smoking cigars, right, or wrapping your weed in a blunt wrap or tobacco leaf, whatever, and then taking Adderall on top of that, like how many things are you compounding and clouding? Why do you need all those stimulants just to operate within the world? Who told you that you needed that stuff? Why? Was it the musicians? Was it the podcasters you listened to? And if you aren't addicted, why is it that when a sober person comes to you and says, hey man, you're sedated, or you're not really yourself, you cling to those things and lash out? Obviously there's a problem. And so whoever gives you drugs destroys you in some way. They halted your progress. They're trying to knock you off your pedestal. They're trying to impede you in any way they can. And if you keep rotting your brain and you end up with Alzheimer's or some new brain disease, and they just want to stuff you in a facility in a chair with your teeth rotting out, and you only have the TV as your companion, that's not a good end. See, when you're young and healthy, it's easy to consume all this stuff. and hang out with people who think it's cool. And you waste time there trying to get high, trying to create a euphoria, trying to create some type of magical porn scene at an orgy. You know, you're trying to create a story to tell that makes you feel like you've succeeded, like you did something so cool that you can cling to in your hours of boredom and bond with these people in this hedonistic fallen state. That's not actually what's going to happen. When you keep inoculating yourself, you don't have any control of where your brain's going to spiral. And oftentimes the depression that you've been layering is just kind of twisted in there, just swarming around, and you're afraid to stop using those stimulants because it's going to open up. And then your brain is going to focus on that stuff. And if you're lobotomized in a facility and they're just stuffing pills in you like a Thanksgiving turkey, and you're drooling and you're shitting yourself, and you're like, oh, and there's some angry nurse who smells like Marlboro Lights, who's like angrily sticking that needle in your arm, not even caring, and no one hears your cry, no one has visited you. You chose to just layer your personality with intoxicants so your kids don't really like you, or you never were able to attract a mate because of your addiction to intoxicants, and now you're alone in despair, and you don't have any spirituality. All you have is your atheist neckbeard garbage. Richard Dawkins isn't gonna float in your in front of you and be like, evolution, chimpanzees, Darwin. That's not gonna comfort you. Okay, Sam Harris isn't gonna be like, time to do meditation, time to do meditation. That's not really what's gonna happen. In my perspective, more shaitans are just gonna come feed on you and whisper to you and bring up every bad memory that you made. And you're gonna see the debauchery you did with sober eyes. And if you are a good person, you're gonna cringe and feel disgust, like, what was I thinking? And you have to look at the intoxicants, which lowered your shyness, made you more bold in a way that was reckless. Okay? And then you'll realize those who were smiling in your face and put those products in front of you hated you. Hated you. It doesn't matter if people like Dave Smith and Joe Rogan brag about drugs and alcohol and you're so free, yeah, the state shouldn't make it legal because they have no right to control what you put in your body. It's at the same time you have to recognize no one should be using that stuff. And if somebody wanted humanity to be freer, why would they push intoxicants? Why would they minimize the negative effects of it? Why wouldn't they want it to be illegal? If they actually cared about keeping families together and keeping men masculine and strong. When a man is high off his ass on drugs, and he's just bumbling there. Sometimes he pisses his pants. He can't stand right. He turns his hat, it's all crooked. Maybe his pants start to sag, forgets to button up his pants. Or he's begging someone for drug money. They have been lowered. And it starts with, oh, let's tweak one time and have meth. Then it goes to, okay, just when I'm at this party. And then, okay, well, I like this girl and she's a drug user, so let's get high together. And then boom, bada boom, bada boom, and before you know it, you're just sliding into addiction. Okay? No railings, just sliding, and you're like, what? Where am I now? And you're hurting the people around you who actually love you. And then you got these floating talking heads on YouTube, yeah, why should they care what you put in your body? Why should they care what you put in your body? And then you realize those people are just counting their money, ad revenue. They're not thinking at all about you. How you took their life advice and applied it. And if someone's an ex-Satanist, and they're like, yeah, I overdosed once, and I got close to overdosing and I decided not to worship Satan anymore. But, I'm totally for you doing whatever kind of trip you want to do. Well, maybe you still do worship Shaitan. Because the superior religion of Islam tells you not to use intoxicants. When we pray, we are not supposed to be high. Our mind is supposed to be focused, things to be shut out. Someone who's like, oh, mushroom, weed. Your brain is like, whoa. And then it's like, let's float over here. Oh, what, that person looked at me weird. What's going on? What was that noise? It's very chaotic. And you think you're having these profound thoughts, but it's like you're just like a bird, swimming in the water, and then you go up in the sky and you're just swimming in a circle, and you're not really going anywhere. You're just going in this spirally loop. And you thought you were soaring, doing something progressive in terms of character development, and then when you get up from that, you don't really remember much. And so then you get high again, thinking you can go back to the same place you were, but you're not going to go to the same place. Now your brain is going to take you somewhere else. Because these stimulants are the steering wheel. And you are along for the ride. And when someone else is in control of the steering wheel, oh, we turn in here, we turn in there. We're going to be like NASCAR. We're just going to go really fast in a loop. Nothing really is happening that is going to make you actually wise. Now, when we pray and we feel that stillness when we prostrate, our head's on the floor, we have humility, we're on our knees, and we're remembering we are not the center of the universe. We are not gods. We bow to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We prostrate. Okay? We, prostrate and get on the floor, sit, stand with our, that is a moment where you are a pillar. You're not, someone who's high on meth and they're like, oh, I see these shadow people. They have green eyes and red eyes. Oh, who's that? And they start, oh, there's something under my skin. And they're scratching themselves. Like, you can just see people rip out their hair, pick at their skin. And you're like, that's not wisdom. But that's where the intoxicant culture leads. So anyone who's like, drink codeine, cough syrup, have a blunt, have cocaine, just fill your body with all of these chemicals that are literally poisoning you in real time. They want to see you fall. They're not cool, they're weak. They're lazy. Their nice bodies are going to deteriorate. If you were a cannibal, you wouldn't want to eat that. You'd be looking at someone who's healthy and pure. Like if I'm gonna buy a cow, right? When I eat beef heart, I had some old videos on the Baking Philosopher playlist. You go back, way back, me cutting up some beef heart. But the most fascinating thing when I'm cutting open that beef heart is when you open it and it's so pure and clean. And you're just like, this is a healthy animal. And it tastes so good, and then you cook it well. You're like, nice. Like when you're slicing, some fillets off, and you're like, this is a good piece of meat. You can eat it raw. Steak tartare, carpaccio. I mean, a healthy animal whose flesh is so pure that when you eat it, you taste the iron and you're like, oh, this is good. You know you got a healthy cow. If you got a cow that's depressed, abused, frightened, injected with all kinds of crap, fed a poor diet, that meat has a different texture. Even when you pull it, the fat tastes different. Sometimes the meat is bruised and you're like, nah. If you're starving, you ain't got no choice. We gotta do what we gotta do. But if you do have a choice, you're like, what would you rather eat? Who was better taken care of? Which farmer did the better job? Okay? Your body, if it wouldn't even be eaten by a cannibal, What have you done to yourself? You have not become stronger. It's the illusion. It's the illusion. And the people who gave you the drugs, and those who are watching the people who give you drugs, they're laughing at you. They want to eat popcorn as you destroy yourself. One more idiot out of the gene pool. So why would you let someone conquer you? Drugs and alcohol allow you to be conquered. You cannot be strong and then on your knees to drugs. If those intoxicants could have some type of apparitions that could appear, you would be worshipping the apparitions. You would not be worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You would be enslaved to that. If you are a drug addict, you are a slave. You're the lowest kind of slave because you obey an object. Think about that. If you're addicted to Oxycontin, Vicodin, Percocet, all those kind of stuff, and someone's shaking that bottle and you just start like, oh, I want it. You're a slave. You don't have that honor. You need to take it back. You need to get sober. You need to get healthy. And you need to learn how to stand on that cliff, and when the icy waves smash on you, you still have to endure the coldness, the salty water in your mouth, the chill of your scalp being saturated with that freezing Atlantic water. You learn how to cope in a healthier way, and by extension doing so actually become someone admirable. But a rapper, a celebrity, a podcaster who wants you to watch them destroy themselves isn't someone you look up to, because you are watching them destroy themselves so that you watch them. They need you to watch them, and they need the intoxicants in order to make people watch them. If they were sober, no one would really care as much. So you must question the thing within yourself. What part of your evil psyche enjoys watching somebody destroy themselves? What is that? So a posh, smug, anti-human liberal who glorifies abortion, glorifies depopulation, pushes drugs, pushes porn, mocks you if you don't listen to their hip-hop, rap, R&B, stupid country music, or heavy metal. Think about it. What are they really up to? And they claim to be superior. Somebody who is destroying themselves with alcohol and pills and whatever else they want to stuff in their body, claiming to be superior than the sober Muslim. Really examine that. Examine that. It's really fascinating when you think about it. You don't want to be the tagged human cow in the medical facility who's being drained for their health insurance because some losers told you it was cool, it was posh, it was aristocratic to pump yourself full of intoxicants until you reach that precipice of now your memory is going to decay, and now some new brain disease is there, or you get a tumor or something worse. Okay? Really think about it. People only make bad decisions on drugs. People only make bad decisions when they're drunk. People who want you to drink and use drugs want you to make bad decisions. They hate you and they hate themselves. So don't follow them. Let me know what you think, what some of your thoughts are, and if you'd like to join my blog, it's www.subscribestar.com/Milahan Archive. Hope to see you there.